Flexion. Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. Peace is not found in the absence of problems. It's found in the presence of power. The kind of power that doesn't shout. Reflection. The kind that doesn't swing back. The kind that smiles when someone tries to break it. Because true strength isn't loud, it's calm. You see, people will always test you. They'll poke. Reflection. They'll lie, they'll twist your words, and they'll try to pull you into their chaos. But the moment you react, they win. The moment you lose control, they've got you. Reflection. But when you stand tall, breathe slow, and look them dead in the eye with peace in your soul, they crumble. Because nothing terrifies a manipulator more than someone they can't shake. Reflection. So how do you reach that level? How do you become the one who can't be bothered, can't be provoked, can't be moved by nonsense? It takes discipline. It takes awareness. Reflection. It takes mastering. Every person carries an invisible thermostat within them. That inner gauge that decides how they respond when life turns up the heat. Some people live at boiling point. Reflection. Ready to explode at the slightest offense, while others remain calm even in the middle of chaos. The difference lies not in what happens around them, reflection, but in how they manage what happens inside them. When someone insults you, when life disrespects your effort, when people cross lines, that first wave of anger is natural. Reflection, it's energy rising, it's emotion trying to protect your pride. But if you want to reach a level where nothing and no one can shake you, you have to master that first wave. Reflection, you have to catch it before it catches you. The moment you feel your heartbeat speeding up, your tone getting sharp, your mind crafting comebacks, that's the moment to pause. Breathe. Reflection. Let that emotion pass through you without becoming you. Because anger is like fire. It can cook your meal or it can burn your house down. Reflection. Learning to stay calm isn't about pretending nothing affects you. It's about choosing not to let anything control you. When you hold your peace in the face of disrespect, reflection, you don't lose, you win silently. You show the world that your inner temperature isn't determined by external weather. No one can make you lose your cool unless you hand them that control. Reflection, most people react instantly. They shout, they argue, they prove their point, and in doing so, they hand over their peace like it's nothing. But the wise person knows that reacting is easy. Reflection, staying centered is strength. You don't need to match someone's chaos with chaos. Let their noise echo while you stand still. That stillness is power. Think of it like this. Reflection, your emotions are water and your mind is the glass. When the water is calm, you can see your reflection clearly. But when it's stirred, everything becomes distorted. Anger distorts your vision. Reflection clouds your judgment and makes you act in ways you later regret. So when someone tries to disturb you, remind yourself, their goal is not always to win an argument. Reflection, it's to make you lose control. When you stay calm, you rob them of that victory. You show them that their words have no key to your peace. You become unshakable. Reflection. This calmness doesn't appear overnight. It comes from practice, catching yourself before you speak, observing your reactions, and reminding yourself that not every moment deserves a reaction. Reflection. It comes from understanding that calmness is not passivity, it's maturity. The strongest version of you is the one who can smile in the face of provocation, not because you're weak, reflection, but because you know your worth is not up for debate. When you master your inner temperature, you no longer burn with every insult or freeze with every disappointment. You remain balanced, reflection, composed, and untouchable. No matter how hot the world around you gets, your emotions like a warrior masters his blade. Reflection. Let's talk about how to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Most people spend their lives taking everything personally, as if the world is moving against them, as if every rude word, reflection, every cold gesture, every unfair act is aimed straight at their heart. But the truth is, what people say or do rarely has anything to do with you. It's a mirror of who they are inside. Reflection. When someone insults you, lies about you, mocks you, or tries to pull you down, they are not revealing your weakness. They are revealing their own pain, insecurity, and emptiness. Reflection. The person who constantly criticizes others is usually at war with themselves. The person who tries to belittle others is secretly battling the fear of being insignificant. Reflection. Once you truly understand this, you stop carrying other people's poison inside your soul. You start to see their behavior for what it is. Projection, not truth. Reflection. You must learn to separate yourself from other people's emotional storms. When someone throws negativity your way, imagine it bouncing off an invisible shield, never touching your inner peace. Reflection. It's not denial, it's self-protection. You don't need to absorb every emotion, every opinion, every careless word that comes your way. When you take things personally, reflection, you hand strangers the power to control your day, your mood, even your self-image. But when you see through their pain, you stay free. You begin to look at people not with anger, reflection, but with understanding. You start saying to yourself, this isn't about me. They're just speaking from their own wounds. That shift in mindset is liberation, reflection. The moment you stop personalizing everything, life becomes lighter. You walk through situations that once would have broken your peace, and now you simply smile and move on. Reflection, you understand that everyone you meet is fighting a private battle. Some people bleed on others without even knowing it. They release their frustration, jealousy, reflection, or failure by trying to infect others with it. But when you stay aware, don't take the infection. You refuse to let their darkness enter your space. Reflection. You see their anger and remember, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their struggle. You see their arrogance and know it's their insecurity in disguise. Reflection. You see their gossip and realize that's how small minds seek relevance. Taking things personally is like wearing someone else's dirty shoes, uncomfortable and unnecessary. Reflection. Why carry the dirt of someone else's path? Walk your own with confidence. People's opinions change like the wind. One day they'll love you, the next they'll doubt you. Reflection. If you allow those shifts to dictate your peace, you'll spend your life chasing validation that never lasts. But if you anchor yourself, worth inside yourself, you become untouchable. Reflection. You'll no longer be swayed by words, moods, or attitudes. The noise around you will no longer echo inside you. You'll smile, not because you're unaffected, reflection, but because you've learned the secret. What they do is about them, and what you feel is about you. And you, my friend, choose peace every single time. Reflection. There is an incredible strength in silence that most people never understand. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, where people rush to prove, argue, and defend, reflection, silence becomes your secret weapon. It's not about holding your tongue out of fear. It's about knowing that your peace is worth more than being right. When someone tries to provoke you, reflection, argue with you, or pull you into their drama, your silence speaks louder than any words could. It says, I'm not lowering myself to your level. Reflection, I'm not giving you my energy. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've mastered yourself so completely that no one else can pull the strings. Reflection, when you respond to negativity with silence, you leave people alone with their own noise. They expect a reaction. They want to see you flinch. They want to know they've gotten under your skin. Reflection, but when you remain calm, when you just look at them with quiet confidence, their power fades. You disarm them without saying a word. Reflection, they start questioning themselves because your silence exposes their insecurity. You see, people feed off reactions. Anger feeds anger, drama feeds drama, but silence starves it. Reflection, when you give nothing back, they are left holding the weight of their own behavior. That's power, invisible, controlled, and undeniable. Silence is also clarity. Reflection, when you choose not to respond immediately, you give yourself space to think, to breathe, to understand the situation before you act. Reflection. Most people ruin their peace because they speak in the heat of emotion. They say things that can't be taken back and later regret it. But the person who has learned to pause, to stay still, reflection, to let silence do the talking, always wins the deeper game. Silence gives you perspective. It allows you to see what's worth your words and what's not. Reflection. You start realizing that most conflicts don't need your voice. They just need your absence. Silence also teaches others how to treat you. When you don't respond to disrespect, gossip, reflection, or provocation, you set a boundary, a silent boundary that says, my energy is not available for this. And people notice. They learn quickly that you're not the one to play games with. Reflection. You won't argue, you won't chase, you won't defend yourself against nonsense. You're too grounded for that. The more you practice this kind of silent power, reflection, the more people will respect your presence, even if they can't explain why. They can feel that you're centered, that you're not easy to shake. Reflection. True silence isn't empty. It's full of confidence. It's the silence of someone who knows their worth, who doesn't need to shout to prove their value. Reflection. It's the silence of someone who has outgrown the need for validation. And when you walk with that kind of calm, the world listens differently. Your stillness becomes your voice, reflection. Your calmness becomes your message. Your silence becomes your statement. And those who once tried to disturb you will find themselves powerless, reflection, because you no longer meet them at their level. You've risen far above it. Emotional strength is not built in comfort. It's forged in the moments that test your patience, your control, reflection, and your peace. Just like a body becomes strong through resistance, the mind becomes powerful through challenge. Every insult, every unfair comment, reflection, every situation that pushes your buttons is an opportunity to grow beyond your impulses, to become the master of your emotions instead of a slave to them. Reflection. Most people think peace means never being tested, but real peace is proven in the storm. It's not about living in a world without conflict. Reflection. It's about becoming the kind of person who remains calm no matter what the conflict is. Every time you choose patience over reaction, every time you choose calm over chaos, flexion, you are strengthening your emotional muscles. Think about it. No one becomes disciplined by avoiding discomfort. Discipline is born in the moments where your emotions scream for release, reflection. But you choose restraint. When someone disrespects you and you don't react, that's training. When life feels unfair and you still keep your composure, that's training. Flexion. When people test your limits and you refuse to lose your balance, that's training. Each time you hold your peace, your emotional endurance increases. Slowly, reflection, you begin to realize that you no longer respond the same way you used to. The things that once irritated you now barely move you. Reflection, the people who used to control your mood no longer have access to that power. You've become stronger, not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. Flexion, this growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes awareness, self-control, and repetition. You have to catch yourself when emotions rise. Pause before speaking, think before reacting. Reflection, breathe before deciding. That pause is where growth lives. That pause is your power. It's in that small space between feeling and reacting that emotional mastery is born. Reflection, you begin to see challenges differently. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You start saying, reflection, what is this trying to teach me? Every difficult encounter becomes a gym for your character. Every test becomes a chance to sharpen your self-control. And with time, reflection, that control becomes instinct. The truth is, you can't stop life from testing you, but you can use every test to train yourself. People will continue to say foolish things. Reflection, circumstances will still go against you. Not everyone will treat you with fairness or kindness. But once you understand that every emotional challenge is an exercise for your strength, reflection, nothing can truly disturb your peace. You stop taking things as personal attacks and start viewing them as lessons. You become less reactive, more observant, more powerful. Reflection, that's emotional fitness. The ability to stay balanced, calm, and clear-minded even when chaos surrounds you. And when that level of strength is reached, flexion, something beautiful happens. You stop fearing conflict because you know you can handle it. You stop being easily provoked because your emotions now work for you, not against you. Reflection, you become unshakable, not because life stopped being difficult, but because you learned how to stand firm through every storm. Flexion, each test that once felt like a punishment now feels like preparation. Preparation for the calm, powerful, and disciplined version of you that nothing and no one can move. Reflection, one of the biggest reasons people lose their peace is because they spend too much energy trying to control what's beyond them. People, opinions, outcomes, situations, timing, flexion. They fight battles that were never theirs to fight. They argue to change minds that are already closed. They stress over what others think, and they worry about things that may never even happen. Reflection. But the truth is, peace begins the moment you stop trying to control everything outside of you and start mastering what's within you. You can't control what others say or do, reflection, but you can control how you respond. You can't control the storm, but you can control the way you sail through it. The world may not always move in your favor, flexion, but your reaction will always be your choice, and that's where your real power lies. The need to control everything is rooted in fear. The fear of uncertainty, the fear of losing, reflection, the fear of being misunderstood. But life will always be unpredictable and people will always be inconsistent. The sooner you accept that, the freer you become. When someone disrespects you, reflection, you can't control their mouth, but you can control your peace. When plans fall apart, you can't control the outcome, but you can control your attitude. When life throws obstacles your way, reflection, you can't control the timing, but you can control your focus. That shift in mindset from trying to manage the world to mastering yourself changes everything. Suddenly, flexion, you realize how much energy you've been wasting trying to fix what was never in your hands. You stop chasing control and start living with balance. Flexion, people who don't understand this spend their lives reacting. They react to gossip, to opinions, to rejection, to every small inconvenience. Reflection, but those who learn the art of self-control stop reacting to everything that doesn't serve them. They become intentional. They respond when it matters and remain silent when it doesn't. Reflection, they stop explaining themselves to those determined not to understand. They stop trying to please those who will never be satisfied. Reflection, they stop losing sleep over what's already out of their reach. That's not arrogance. That's wisdom. Because peace doesn't come from having control over everything. Reflection, it comes from knowing you don't need to. When you start focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior, reflection, your growth. You'll notice that life starts to feel lighter. The chaos around you no longer dictates your mood. You begin to stand taller, speak calmer, and move smarter. Reflection. You make choices from clarity, not pressure. Even when life throws challenges at you, you remain grounded because your focus is internal. You understand that you can't calm the waves. Reflection. But you can learn to surf them. You stop fighting what you can't. Chain your peace is your most valuable possession. More valuable than money, more valuable than status. Reflection. More valuable than being right. It's the foundation of your strength, the fuel for your clarity, and the protector of your energy. Without peace, everything in life becomes heavier. Reflection. You can have success, you can have recognition, but if you don't have peace, none of it feels right. That's why your peace must be guarded like a treasure. Not handed out freely. Reflection. Not shared with just anyone, and never sacrificed to prove a point. Every time you let someone disturb your calm, you're paying them with your most precious currency. Reflection. Every time you argue with small minds or chase validation from the wrong people, you're spending peace you can't afford to lose. Reflection. Protecting your peace doesn't mean avoiding the world. It means moving through it with boundaries so firm that no one's chaos can enter. Reflection. You have to start being selective about what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Not every battle needs your sword. Not every comment needs your response. Reflection. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Protecting your peace means knowing when to speak and when to walk away. It means realizing that silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. Reflection. You can't stop people from trying to provoke you, but you can stop giving them access to your energy. When someone brings negativity to your doorstep, you don't have to open the door. Reflection. You don't have to justify your calmness or explain your distance. You owe no one an emotional reaction. The moment you stop explaining your peace to those who thrive on chaos, reflection, you reclaim your power. There comes a time when you must start treating your peace like a sacred space. That means being aware of who and what you allow into your circle. Reflection. Some people drain you just by existing in your orbit, not because they're evil, but because they live in noise, and you live in calm. You have to recognize the difference. Reflection. Protecting your peace means learning to say no without guilt, stepping away without anger, and staying silent without shame. Reflection. It means creating an inner environment so calm that even when the world shakes, you remain unshaken. It's not selfish, it's survival. Reflection. You cannot give your best self to the world if you are constantly drained by the wrong energies. When you begin to value peace, you start making different decisions. You stop chasing drama. Reflection. You stop trying to prove your worth to people who never cared to see it. You stop participating in cycles that steal your joy. You start choosing calm over chaos, solitude over noise, reflection, understanding over argument. You begin to realize that walking away isn't weakness, it's maturity. Protecting your peace sometimes means losing people, but it never means losing yourself. Reflection. The ones who truly belong in your life will never force you to abandon your peace to keep them close. True peace doesn't demand attention. It simply exists in quiet power. When you protect it, reflection, life becomes clearer. You hear your intuition louder. You move with purpose, not pressure. You start attracting calm situations because calm energy always draws its reflection. Reflection. That's the beauty of peace. The more you protect it, the stronger it protects you. It shields your mind from unnecessary noise, your heart from emotional traps, and your soul from exhaustion. Reflection. So every day you must ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, walk away, because once you lose your peace, reflection, you lose yourself, and nothing in this world is worth that price. Start mastering your reactions to it. That's how peace is maintained, not by controlling the world, reflection, but by controlling yourself in the face of it. When you truly embrace this mindset, you stop living in constant tension. You no longer feel the need to fix people, to force outcomes, reflection, or to prove yourself. You begin to trust life a little more. You start to understand that everything doesn't have to go your way for you to be okay. You find power in letting go, reflection. And the more you let go of control, the more control you actually gain over your emotions, over your energy, over your destiny. Because peace is not found in controlling everything, reflection. It's found so when life throws its noise at you, when people try to pull you into their drama, when situations try to steal your calm, reflection, when the world tests your patience, stand tall and remember who you are. You are not here to match their energy. You are here to protect yours. Reflection. You are not here to prove your strength through shouting or fighting. You prove it by staying centered when everything around you shakes. Reflection. Real power is not found in dominance or control. It's found in peace. The calm mind wins every time. The unbothered soul moves mountains in silence. The person who keeps their peace, reflection, no matter the storm, becomes untouchable. So walk with calmness, move with confidence, and speak only when your words carry purpose. Reflection, let others lose themselves in noise, you stay rooted in peace. Because the one who cannot be provoked cannot be defeated. And when you master that reflection, no one in this world will ever have the power to disturb your inner kingdom again. In mastering yourself when everything seems uncontrollable,